Episode freaking 8 of
Episode 8.
Pleb Talk. My name is Asael,
I'm Sean.
and today we are presenting you an episode full of goodies. We're talking about a lot about the government. So for my jersey, I'm wearing the 2019-2020 Manchester away jersey. The beer is
Boulevard Brewing Company Tank Number 7 American Saison Ale. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what it is.
8.5% for y'all information. Today we'll be talking about government. We'll be talking about how prominent, how much do we need or should we have our government in our lives. That's for topic 1. Topic 2.
And for 2, we'll be getting into a little bit kind of goes hand in hand with each other. Maybe some tax and corruption, and what the big businesses be doing to get ahead.
Yes, so hope you guys enjoy. Sit down, relax, and take a sip of your favorite drink. Cheers.
Cheers. What do you think about the beer?
The beer is actually, it's pretty good, man. I don't really taste the 8.3%, but...
I kind of do, I kind of don't.
Yeah.
But to me, it tastes real fruity. Almost like an IPA.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of IPAs, but this one I can do.
Yes, IBUs. Yeah, it reminds me of that Hawaiian Big Wave beer.
Yeah, Kona Big Wave.
Kona Big Wave beer. But it's
a little bit, yeah.
I like it. It's fresh. It's fresh. Because I saw Boulevard, and I thought some sort of like whiskey type of thing. But whatever, man. So we got a big episode today. Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it. So first thing I want to talk about is sensitivity. When did the world get so sensitive?
Yes.
So
yes,
I want to hear what you want to, or your little view on it.
Well, I do agree that we are pretty sensitive. Where the turning point is kind of hard to say. Like, it's got to be like the last 10 years. I feel like 10 years ago we were, and biggest thing is kind of like media and what can be portrayed in media. Right. Why do you say that? What brings you to?
I don't really know. I know this hit me a few days ago, and I don't know what hit me a few days ago, but it got me thinking as well with a cult classic TV show, The Office. The Office was one of those edgy shows who had these great topics that I guess nowadays some of them you can't really talk about.
Right.
Right. And the way The Office portrayed these topics, was very, very funny, very comical.
Yes.
Great delivery.
Of course.
The writers of the show had to have been geniuses.
Yes.
But basically, a show like that can never be done again.
Nothing quite like it. I know there's a UK version which I've never watched.
There is a UK
I'm sure
version.
it's maybe similar, but the way
it was dry. I watched the first 3 episodes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was on Netflix before. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, it was years ago. I watched it. And it was dry. Look, I think I'm kind of a dry guy myself.
Yeah.
But golly, is that stuff dry?
I bet. I know that Gervais guy. I forget his name.
Ricky Gervais.
Well, Ricky.
Yeah.
I know he's a pretty funny guy. I do like him, but I've never seen the show. Maybe he carries the show on his back. I don't have no idea.
Do you know what the show kind of felt like? It felt like, if you were in some type of office space.
Yes.
And there was a guy who would just try to be funny but wasn't funny. That's how it felt. Like, I really did not
cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you kind of have to give a little fake chuckle or something. That's kind of what it felt like.
Okay. Yeah. I just feel like, where did we get sensitive? I don't know, man. I just hate how we're almost forced. What's the word? I don't know, man. Force some things down our throats. Hey, now you can't do this or go to this place or this type of thing. I don't know. And and I agree and I disagree, because in San Francisco, there was a back when I was younger, way younger, there's a park there. It's called Dolores Park.
All right.
And this park, from what I've been told, I was too young to go visit myself or have my own opinion about it, but this park was supposedly only homosexuals would go, only gay people would go.
Interesting.
Only,
really interesting.
Right. And I remember when I was growing up, before we were a lot more, or the world was a little more open to gay people, this part was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, you don't want to go there. It's like, no, you don't. It's not really, your type of thing, right? And now it's like, it's super celebrated. It's like every time I see one of my friends go to San Francisco, they always go to that park. They always take pictures on that park. It's got a nice view of the city. Sunsets, surely really nice there. So I feel like we're a little more sensitive, but we're a lot more open.
Well,
And
see, that's the thing. I feel like it's like it's open to more. It's like if it's anything that involves like equality,
yes,
that's promoted. But everything else, even the hint of
Yeah.
inequality, even the hint, it could be the most innocent hint of inequality.
Yeah.
It's shut down. It's basically canceled. Cancel culture.
yeah, that cancel culture is dangerous, man. It's
Yeah.
dangerous. Who was it? I mean, well, people are canceled all the time, and of course, if they've been, of course, guilty and proven guilty, then by all means.
sure.
But this whole, oh, you know what? This one time I didn't feel too comfortable, so I'm just gonna say this, that he or she did all this just to cancel them, to ruin their career. It's like, man, that's a little bit too much power for some people. But of course, if like I said, if they really did that person or that thing or action, and they've been accused guilty or found guilty, then by all
Right.
means.
Yeah.
But we are in very sensitive times, I will
Yes,
say.
it feels like that. I want to say the first time I felt the change,
Yeah.
or we'll call it the change.
Yeah.
I want to say, I remember I was, back in community college, and I want to say it was like 2014. I want to say at 2014, that's when it kind of felt like things were changing, but it was a big enough change to where like you like, or at least I felt it. I was like, man, something just doesn't seem right. It just
Yeah.
feels like there's so much change happening, for better or worse, who knows? But yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what made you think that, but
I don't know either. I don't know either.
it's massive. Of course, having, you're right, equality for all people, all types of people,
Yeah, I mean,
genders.
that's great. That's great.
That's perfect.
But it's like the slightest hint of it, the slightest hint of inequality, it's just shut down.
You know what? I got a good point. So
Yeah.
one of my friends, speaking on the same topic, one of my friends, this is where I think is a bad example of this sensitivity, or a good example of this person being sensitive, right?
All right.
A good friend of mine was on a dating app, and there's a male and female attraction. So are you attracted to both or one one gender? And my friend is straight. My guy friend is straight, so he just wants to date women, right?
Yeah.
This woman matched with him.
All right. Sounds good.
and-
Wait, is it woman or is it woman?
She identifies as a woman, so it's a woman.
All right.
She messages him and lets him know that he used to be a man,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
So she's a transgender,
All right.
transgender woman, correct?
I don't know. I mean,
that's how
I think so.
So you used to be a
Yeah.
man, so you trans into a woman, so you're
Got
a
you.
transgender woman, right? She obviously lets him know, which is great. Thank you for letting me know. He appreciates that, because you don't want to like go on a first date and you're like,
Yeah. You're like, whoa,
whatever.
something doesn't seem right here.
Yeah, you got bigger biceps than I do.
Yeah.
What's going on?
You got hair on your chest.
She lets him know that that she used to be a man. She is now, like I said, identifies as a woman. I don't know to the extent of her body, to what extent she's a woman, but she identifies as a woman. I guess she looks like a woman because they swiped with each other. So if you like the person, you swipe to a certain direction,
Got you.
saying that you kind of are interested as far as the way they look. He then like, hey, you know what? I appreciate you letting me know that you used to be a man. All power. All power to you. More power to you. But that's not my type, right? You think that's fine? I think that's fine.
I think that's fair.
That's fine.
That's fair.
She then proceeds to call him a bunch of mean, cancel culture type of things. Like, hey, you know what? You're a homophobic, person, type of thing. Yada yada yada. Where
Sure.
I'm going with
Yeah.
that. He tells me, I'm like, wow, that person, that woman, is just does not know what's going on.
No, not at all.
Because
Not at all.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna explain to you why. Taste in women, taste in cars, taste in houses. You have a taste. you just because you don't like a certain type doesn't mean that you hate them or you don't want to be hung out with them or you don't accept them as a human being. No. I just wouldn't date you. Dating someone is way different than being a friend or being nice to a person.
Absolutely.
He was still being respectful, nice, and she was being in the beginning as well because she came up out of the get-go letting him know that she used to be a man. But just because I'm not interested in you does not mean I'm a homosexual. I'm sorry, a homophobic person.
Hey, all right. So answer me this.
Yes.
Let's say this person. Let's say your friend was you.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Let's say your friend was you. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you're on the dating app.
Okay.
You match with this person.
Yes.
All right. Y'all go on dates. Y'all hit it off, and like 6 months into it, then she tells you, "Hey, I was a man before. Yeah. What's happening?"
Nothing's happening, dude. I'm not texting back. Because look, it's not because she used to be a man, but rather because how far we took it.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months is a long time.
That's a long time.
Like you're investing in that person.
Yeah,
that's a long time. That's what's the word? Not I was about to say move, but that's a douche move to do.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, come on, right? There's no like arguing on that. Surely. I mean, come on. Let's think about it, dude. Because like this is a good topic. This is a great topic. Because like this is how sensitive some people may be, and like, oh, let's cancel this person because you know he doesn't like me because I used to be a man. No, it's like I have a taste, and you don't meet that taste, and that should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm not gonna hang out. I will still hang out with you. I'll go grab some drinks. I'm sure you're a great person and everything. And just I wouldn't date you. That's fine.
Got you.
You know, maybe you have a taste in Asian women or Asian men. You have a taste in men with freckles. And it just doesn't mean you hate men without freckles. It just means that's the type of a man you want to date or a woman you like to date. So that does not get that mistaken, guys. Don't be sensitive to that stuff. There's people that like your taste or the way you are. Some people that don't. They don't hate you. They don't want to see you, suffer. It's just the way it is.
That's what it is.
Same thing with cars. Same thing with houses, music. Whatever. You say it. You name it. There's a taste, and that's fine. Great topic. Great starting topic. That's a lot of debate. There's a lot of debate in that.
Yeah.
And I hate to see, people I know be called homophobic just because.
Yeah, it's irrational.
It's irrational. That's what it is. Yeah. And we're back. Topic 1. So, Sean, this is a big thing. So this is not necessarily per se a New Year's episode or anything like that. No. But in this last year, along with 2020, we've been through a lot as humans.
Yeah, there's been
as humans.
Some changes.
For those watching in 30 years from now, at the beginning of 2020, about March or so.
2020, yeah.
About March, we were hit with a virus that originally started, as far as we know now, it started in China.
Could be wrong. I don't know.
Could be wrong, sure.
But we're plebs. But yeah, I mean, from what we believe.
From what we've been told, at least, every
China.
source says, for the most part, it started in Wuhan, China. What this virus is basically a ramped up flu. Is that safe to say?
It's from SARS, which is I could be wrong on this. It's systematic acute respiratory syndrome.
Right.
I believe
right.
What it is.
So, if you have asthma, if you're a lot older, your immune system's a little weaker, you may be more susceptible to this virus. And before we knew it, it started out, like I said, in China. It spread in Europe and Italy very strong. And before we knew it, around like March or April, we got it here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, there has been a pandemic, which is safe to say still going now. When did the vaccine roll out? It was about a year later, I want to say.
I don't think it was that long, was it?
About like November. No. Okay, so
It was maybe I think December.
October.
I think December.
Because I got. Oh, you're right. About December. December of 2020, it started rolling out.
Yeah.
So that's about more or less 10 months or so of bunch of research. I'm sure extensive research from doctors and professionals in this profession to find a vaccine, not a cure, but a vaccine.
Yeah.
So we're now at a point in 2021 going into 2022 where the vaccine is available basically for anyone. I think I would say safe to say for anyone in the world is able to get one.
Yes, at least from what we know.
That's like 95%. Sure.
If you're in a first world country, I would assume so. Third world country, 95%.
I don't know. So, Here in the United States, around this time, we are also at a very controversial, for some people at least, not for me necessarily, but for some people, it's very controversial whether or not you should get the vaccine and whether or not should it be mandated for you to get the vaccine. So, for example, government employees, not too long ago, maybe a month or two ago from today, are now mandated to get the vaccine if they wish to continue working. Now, the only exceptions that I know is like religion, perhaps even medical.
I don't think, actually, I want to interrupt for a second. I don't think any religious exemptions were actually approved, though.
It was very, very small. I saw that in the Army it was about like 10 people.
Okay, so I want to say I heard that they were doing religious exemptions about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I heard that there hasn't been a single one as of 2 weeks ago when I first heard of it. Yeah,
I saw it maybe a video maybe a week ago or so. It was like 10 people, and the whole military, not army, just military in general.
Maybe it depends on who you know. You know, if you actually know the person stamping off on it.
I don't know. So traveling restrictions as well. I'm sure a lot of countries. I've been to another state or several states within the country, and to Mexico during the pandemic. And yes, vaccination proof was required for both entry and exit of the country. So back in the United States. Now, the question here, and it's a good question because it's important to also know the limitations of government, right? And how far can they reach into our lives before it becomes detrimental or perhaps impeding of your rights, right? So, the question here is, okay, well, we'll start with COVID at least, or the vaccine. Is it too much for your government or our government to require the vaccine? Period. Now, we'll get into traveling. We'll get into the type of job you're in. We'll get into everything else later. But right off the bat, is it too much for them to require the vaccine for, I guess, all citizens?
So I've given this some thought. I wish I've given this more thought. But where I am in my thought process is, I think it is too much.
Okay, that's fine. I think it is too much. Or do you mind elaborating? Why?
I think it's too much. Look, I get it. You know, I actually do want to bring up numbers on it. I do.
Sure.
So as I'm speaking, probably look at facts. But
yeah, fine. So you want?
Yeah, basically, what I want to say is I think it's too much because at that point, why isn't the flu vaccine, mandatory? I mean, the flu kills too.
Yes.
Why isn't, measles, mumps, rubella required? It's not. That basically stunts people's lives for forever. So, I mean, at that point.
Now, how serious is the flu compared to COVID?
Yeah, that's actually what I want to look up. Let's see. COVID, that's worldwide. Worldwide, it's killed. First, before I say it, what do you think it's killed?
No idea.
Just give a guess.
From COVID?
But yeah, just COVID worldwide. How many do you think it is based off of what you've been hearing in the media, what you've been hearing, all the safeguards in place of you need this vaccine, you need proof, yada, 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 whatever.
How many people think right now?
Worldwide. Give me a worldwide number.
It's been more than 1 million.
So
in the United States.
So I'm talking worldwide, not just U.S.
Yeah. I think in the United States there's already been more than 1 million, I believe.
Okay.
So having that said, I'd say
I have the live totals right now on
oh man,
the biggest.
I'm gonna look so silly. I'm gonna say 10 million.
5.4 million.
Okay.
In the U.S.
Yes.
817,000.
Oh wow, I thought it was 1 million.
This was updated 3 hours ago.
What's the website, real quick, for the reviewers?
It is Wikipedia, but it's 3 hours ago.
I thought it was already 1 million in the United States.
It could be.
I thought it was. Okay, whatever. We'll take it with a grain of salt. 5 point something million. Let's say 6. Okay, 6 million now in the flu, and we're talking about in the last year.
This is not even just a year. It's basically a year and a half now.
About a year and a half.
Going on 2 years almost.
Yes.
In 3 months, it would be 2 years.
Yes. So flu. Now, okay. Those numbers also. There's a lot of propaganda going around those numbers because those numbers can also be, for example, someone that died in a car accident that had COVID at that time. Are they labeling that death?
They are. They are.
Okay, you're saying they are. I would say let's not say what they are or they are not.
Let me give you the reason why they are. Because
Hospitals, yeah, okay.
Yeah, hospitals, exactly. So for everyone who doesn't know, hospitals were labeling it as a COVID death, even though COVID might have been secondary or might not have been the primary reason. So they would do that because hospitals would then get paid by the government more money depending on how much COVID cases that they had.
Yeah. I believe that. I don't know if that set was, they're considering that or they're not considering that.
I'm sure those are considered.
We don't know, bro. So let's not assume. Let's not assume. But I do know that it's a big number of people have died from the COVID. Now, so as you decide whether or not you think or why you think that it's too much for the government to require that, the reason I believe is not too much is because, first of all, it's for their own safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I want you to be vaccinated, the reason you want me to be vaccinated is that I don't contaminate you, and if you're already vaccinated, then I don't contaminate your clothes, and then you pass it to your loved ones, your friends or coworkers, and then spread it. So that's kind of how it got so bad in the beginning last year, was because of those like contaminations. Like, hey, maybe you're asymptomatic, you don't feel nothing, but you may still be carrying the virus, which then you spread it to someone that you loved or a coworker, and then that's just how it got so bad. And it got really, really bad. Where like restaurants, streets were empty. It got really, really bad. No inside seating, no stores. It was all online shopping. It was drive-throughs. It was to-goes. It was pretty bad. And I thought, this got to get better. This has to get better. If not, this economy is going to fall. We're going to turn to a third world country. A lot of countries did really feel the pain or the impact of it. I know India, I don't know if they still are or still not, but they got really hit really, really bad. Not that, they're a first world country or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are, right? Okay, maybe I just talked poop about India, but but I don't. Okay, well, I know that they have a lot of their income is not as high as per se.
Right. There's a big wealth disparity.
Wealth disparity per capita is not very high. I also don't know that. I'm also talking more crap about India, but whatever. My point is that for the most part, it's for your own safety. So government jobs, yes, please force that. If you work at home, see, the thing is that you still go to shopping malls, you still go to your groceries, so you can still spread it very, very easily.
I mean, look. I know they just came out with the new variant, the Omicron variant, but I mean, look, if you just go to the store, you see tons of people, loads of people, as if nothing's going on.
Yes.
So what does that say to you?
That a lot of people aren't taking it as seriously as they should.
Okay.
Right.
I wish we had like someone else that could pull up facts for us, but
we're hiring.
That being said, I'm curious to see if the death rate in the past 2 months has increased because of that.
Oh, the Omicron.
Omicron.
The Omicron has been. It's pretty recent. It's maybe the last 2 or 3 months. Right. It's been prominent in the United States.
And they did say that the Omicron variant is less deadly but more infectious.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay, so the more you know. We're not completely plebs. At least Sean, maybe
just halfway.
So, and this variant thing is. I mean, that I think there was one not too long ago as well that also started spreading, but I guess it didn't spread as fast. I think it was in Europe or something like that. This one's from Africa, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, that was the Omicron variant.
The Omicron's from Europe. Africa, right?
South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, it's pretty funny, or not funny, but it's pretty interesting that, so the scientists that actually discovered it,
yes,
they were actually like sent to like house arrest for like finding it. Yeah, because they were like labeled from the South Africa government, like you're basically ruining, the reopening. Yeah. Shame on y'all for finding this. I mean, what?
I could see that because South Africa surely depends a lot on tourism.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely. So that's something that's coming out as well. And these variants are very prominent from viruses only because viruses are living organisms as far as growing and adapting to.
That's debatable. That is like the most highly debated things of all time is if a virus is living or not.
Only if they're to A host. Only if they are connected to a host.
Not even. Not even.
I mean, on their own, they're not alive.
I mean, that's just what they are, though. They're just a sack of DNA, basically, that just knows how to replicate.
Yes, but I feel like, I mean, I don't know much about science, but I feel like, okay, whatever. That's not even the point of the. I just think that they're not alive unless they're to a host. But whatever.
I mean, I went to school for this, but yeah. I took biology.
They adapt to vaccines just like living organisms adapt to what might kill them. So they want to survive. Survival's the key. So they may adapt to block off the current Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson vaccine, and then turn it to something else where they aren't affected by that. Whatever. Should it be mandatory for your government to require you to get the vaccine? I say yes, because it's for your own good. At the end of the day, it's not because the government wants to put some damn seed in you where you're being tracked.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists.
A lot of people do think that, though.
That think that you're getting microchipped. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to look at it from the most unbiased way.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I do see it is for the greater good.
Yes.
But at the same time, with like how rights are, and I mean, then again, I'm also not a lawyer, but based off my interpretation of what your rights are as a human resident of the U.S., I think it is unethical.
Okay. Now, that one vaccine or shot we're supposed to get before going to college, which one's that one called?
I don't even... Oh, I know it. The one about meningitis.
So that one is required by...
I don't think it's required.
I think it... Well, I know I got it because of college. I think it is required. At least in our state. I don't know about all United States. In our state, or at least in our city, at the very least, or our colleges, it is required. So you probably did get that shot if we did go to the same college.
I might have. Yeah.
You did. I remember I did. So that one is already required. Where is the outcry on getting the meningitis shot?
So I just looked it up. It is by state.
Okay,
it depends on the state.
Okay, so our state does require,
and of course, you can get a waiver out of it
if surely religion, surely medical, something like that. So where is the outcry on the meningitis shot? It being required to go to college? Nowhere.
See, and this is where I'm going to cut you off. Vaccines take, a successful, true vaccine takes years to make, which is why a lot of people don't make a big fuss about the flu vaccine, which is why some of my coworkers that I've talked to, they say they're against getting the COVID vaccine, but they don't care about getting the flu vaccine because they have gotten the flu vaccine because they know that the flu vaccine has been studied for literally decades. So they know the flu vaccine is, I don't want to say bulletproof. And by the way, the flu vaccine, it's really just an educated guess. It's not foolproof at all. Basically, it's just a bunch of scientists go based off of, the past few years, and they see how the flu has mutated in this year, and they just take an educated guess by saying, hey, we think the flu is going to mutate in this way, so we're going to modify the flu vaccine to act in this way to counteract that. And at times, they've been completely wrong, and at times, they've been completely right. But that's the basis of how the flu vaccine works.
Has it been pretty accurate, though, for the last...
Relatively. So it's accurate, and it's... So... I will give you the stat on it, and you tell me if it's accurate or not.
Okay.
Best case scenario, 12 million people die. Not 12 million, 12,000 people die. Worst case scenario, around 60,000 people die.
In the world?
Yeah, worldwide.
Okay, I think that's
pretty
accurate. That's actually really accurate.
Yeah.
That's 99.999999999.
It's got to be, right? Yeah.
Highly. So that's highly accurate. So, okay. I don't think that means anything, but... When do you think, also I'm putting you on the spot, when was the flu vaccine invented, crafted, come up with, conjured up?
I really don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
That's fine.
Vaccine, large-scale availability in the U.S., 1945.
Okay, perfect. So this goes well into my point.
Okay.
What type of technology do you think that they had in 1945 to come with the flu vaccine that... versus the technology, research, scientists, doctors, information, transmission through one country doctors to other country doctors that they have now? How much faster?
Technology in that sense has not changed very much in the sense of how the vaccine is created. in the sense of how vaccines are created.
Oh, creation, sure, but research.
Or what about research?
I'm sure the research has been ramped up exponentially from 1945 or 1940 to 5, whenever they were making it, to the point where we can now, in matter of, let's say, 10 months. I'm a pleb. I don't know how fast or how easy it is to come up with a vaccine. I know it's really hard. Surely it is really hard. But it also wasn't the first vaccine that we came up with. It was the trial and error part. Like, I'm sure like in the 5th month, we maybe had like a prototype. We're like, okay, let's try this out. Didn't work on a rat or something, or a monkey or something like that. We moved on and scratched that and got something else. So, look, I understand the argument as far as like, okay, how was a vaccine come up with, was made in about 10 months versus it took about 10 years to make up a flu vaccine. Easy, bumbozo. We have technology that matches or equally matches the freaking technology of a damn alien now compared to 1945. 1945, we didn't have nothing. Are you kidding me, bro? How is that even an argument, bro? I just can't understand. Like, look, be skeptical. That's fine. I love you questioning everything, or not you in particular, but people that have this argument. Question what you're putting in your body. Yes, of course, 100%. Be healthy, but we're also considering that so far we haven't had like a case of like this person turned into a dog, this person turned into a monkey. No, we haven't had a case like that. Have people died? Yes, people have died because of the vaccine, or allegedly.
Okay, so
very few though.
Get this: the first vaccine for Ebola, all right, came out in 2019.
Okay.
How long has Ebola been around?
Probably a long time.
Long time.
Now, how many people, or was that ever even an epidemic?
Yeah, in Africa.
Okay, not a pandemic though, but
there actually was a recent epidemic in Africa less than 3 years ago.
How many people did that kill? And then again, okay, that's fine. Then again, I don't think that any Russian scientists, any Mexican scientists were looking for that Ebola cure.
It was in the year of... So in 2 years, 2014 to 2016, just only in 4 countries. Yes. I don't have the whole statistic on it, but only in 4 countries, it killed 12,000 people.
In 2 years?
In 2 years,
12,000.
Only 4 countries.
That's nothing.
It's 4 countries.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. That is very tragic. That is very sad. That is unfortunate. But compared to the numbers and the urgency needed for the COVID vaccine...
Like, this is a worldwide compared to 4 countries, though.
Yes, but it was also only Africa.
Right, and Ebola, though... Ebola did get epidemic notoriety. You get epidemic notoriety.
It's
U.S. believe...
It's serious.
U.S. believe companies are going to try to making vaccines because, they want that money.
Also, Africa, compared to literally almost any other continent, is not as advanced as those other countries.
Right, it's not. But you're not only getting, countries in Africa making the vaccine. You're going to have everywhere trying to make this vaccine. You're not only... There's no way.
I'm not saying only Africa, but I doubt it was a whole world like it was for the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Yeah. Surely. So I'm saying I don't think any Canadian scientists were looking into Ebola.
Let's put it this way. Merck, a U.S. company, made the vaccine for Ebola.
And there's no surprise there. I think America
it wasn't an African country.
Yeah, and I think there's no surprise there because America has a lot of interest in Africa as far as economic interests.
But that just goes against what you just said about...
Okay, I'm just saying like in Canada. I'm thinking like a country like Switzerland was not looking into it. A country like Russia wasn't looking into it. A big country like...
I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were.
To the extent that America was, absolutely not. Look, all I'm saying, man, is that the amount of community interest to finding this COVID vaccine has probably been like none other ever. So are we having our best minds gather around electronically to find a cure? Absolutely. Was information passed from one country into another country? Like, hey, this is what I found. This is what I found. Hey, you Russian government. I'm sorry, doctor, a research doctor. I found this. Can you help me out? I can't find the. Yes, I'll help you. Like none other has ever happened like that. Surely, I was not in the. I'm not in the medical field.
That's the difference, though.
Yes.
You don't know what safeguards have been removed because of it.
I'm sorry. What do you mean?
You don't know what rules of making a vaccine. What rules you could skip or look over
the amount of urgency has been like nothing we've seen prior to like freaking the.
I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. You don't know, if the governments have said, "Hey, look, we need this vaccine super ASAP."
Yes.
We're not gonna put you through this whole ethics committee, which they do run through in this committee.
Surely.
You have these 10 basic I'm just throwing out situations. You have these 10 safeguard rules that you have to abide by. However, because we need this vaccine now, only abide by these 5. Yeah. Forget the other 5 because we need the vaccine.
I'm sure some steps were skipped, but by necessary reasons. I think they were logical.
You said I'm sure some steps were skipped, and that's where the distrust of the vaccine comes into place.
Okay, but has there been proof for someone that may not want to take the vaccine that, hey, this vaccine has been killing a lot of people, has been mutating people, has been tracking people? Has there enough proof been out there where you're like, oh, you know what? I don't know about this vaccine, man. This person reacted differently. Like I said, some people have passed away from it tragically, but I'd say 99.99999% have not felt any super detrimental effect from it. I think that's safe to say. Yeah, my arm hurts a little bit when I took it. That's fine. This little sore, that's normal. But yeah. I think to the fundamental purpose of the vaccine and how it's been taken worldwide is 5 thumbs up. Has it been done fast? Yes. Have we had more technology, more research technology and funds than ever? Yes. Was it fast? Yes.
So there's 8 billion people in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And like I said, there's been 5.5 million deaths.
Yes.
That is 0.006% of the population.
Yes. What's your point?
That's pretty minuscule.
It is.
That's pretty minuscule.
It is. In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Is it still...
So out of 0.006%?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, is it really that necessary to require vaccines for everybody?
Yes. Because, like I said, man,
that's worldwide, by the way.
Yes. Getting the vaccine does not bring any downfall to your life at all. There's not like, okay, you're gone for a week. You're going to miss work for a week. No. Maybe a day, you might be a little sore. You can still work. It depends on what arm you are. If you're, right-handed or left-handed, whatever, you can still work.
But that's what because, this vaccine was literally developed in less than a year.
Okay. Which doesn't scare me at all, honestly.
Yeah, but listen.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, let me finish then.
Sure.
So the vaccine has been developed in less than a year.
Okay.
That being said, there hasn't been trials longer than how many months? Like 3 months, 4 months? You don't know what might develop in 10 years' time. Whether you might grow a
tail,
a tumor, I don't know. Yeah, tail, a second head. So, the negative side effects, we really don't know.
Look, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a research scientist. I don't know what type of things go into that vaccine.
Remember what I talked about too in one of the other last episodes? That one company, Chemi Grunenthal or something like that. It was FDA approved.
I think that's in the episode that we didn't.
Was it? Okay, so basically we talked about this. If we didn't talk about it, here's what it is. If it is in a previous episode, maybe we discussed it, maybe we didn't. But basically there was a company, Chemi Grunenthal, I think. This company got this medication FDA approved.
Yes.
And next thing you know, the next year, they realized that it was actually causing babies to get their growth stunted so tremendous to where by the time that they were adults, their arms and legs never grew longer than whatever they were whenever they were a baby.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
Okay, well, now you know.
No. Okay, yeah, and that's fine. I don't think the same type of requirements were required for that medication? Was it a medication? What was
Well,
it?
yeah, it was a medication for basically to cure headaches.
Okay, so I don't think enough, or obviously not enough research was done on that medication, but I think there was a different type of rigorous trials for the COVID vaccine than there was for that medication. 100%. Surely.
I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it.
So you think
like I
there's
said,
more scientists or research scientists looking into this headache medication than there was for the COVID vaccine?
I didn't hear that. That's what you said.
Okay.
I thought you said something else. But my point, I thought you said the amount of investigation, per length, because in the COVID vaccine, less than a year, guaranteed, has been put into it. It was less than a year, and look, they came out with boosters because they realized, holy crap, our vaccine wasn't even really that good.
Well,
so we got to get boosters.
A flu shot every year, though.
That's true. That's true.
That's kind of like it's not gonna last forever.
But that's the thing, though. The flu has been known to mutate every single year.
Okay, well, and so has the COVID vaccine or the COVID thus far.
We've only known it for a year.
Omicron,
Cron.
We have the Omicron. I know I'm saying that, but yeah, we have the Omicron that has already been mutated, which is it's very much like the flu vaccine. I think, you know what? I'll say this. I'll put money down that eventually we'll have a vaccine that covers both the flu and the COVID virus on the same shot. I think that's something to put your money on. That sounds something very plausible because, like I said,
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt it because they're two different viruses completely.
And can't you tackle both in one shot?
I doubt it.
I'd put my money on it.
They're two completely different. COVID. Like I said before, COVID came from SARS.
Yeah.
Flu's its own thing.
Yeah, they're different, but I think that eventually we'll be able to knock it out in one shot. Like I said, we have very smart people taking on, not us. We're not doing no research on it. But look, my point is, man, is that we've had, unlike any other virus or flu or whatever before to humanity, we've never had such smart, advanced technology ever before. And this is a priority. So let's say you're someone that makes vaccines, right? Okay. You're a scientist that makes vaccines. In the last year and a half, 2 years, what has been your priority? Without a doubt, COVID. Without a doubt. You don't care about I can't even think of any other viruses, but you don't care about nothing else.
I'm about to hit you with something here in a second, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't care about anything else. This is your main priority. So out of all the whole world, all the research scientists, that has been your priority. Because of that, and I don't know how well, countries work together to make this vaccine. I think the United States came up with the top 3, didn't they?
So this is the thing, though. I'm going to tell you the difference between, like I said, the flu is the flu.
Yes.
It just is.
Yes.
And the flu mutates every year.
Yes.
Like I said before, right? And a mutation is a single change in a virus's genome. All right?
Okay.
A variant contains multiple mutations. So variants are much harder to tackle because there's multiple changes.
Okay.
A mutation is a single change, which is why the flu is easier to tackle.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So I'm just, because earlier you were saying, the flu, yeah, it's basically the same thing. So, that's why it's different.
So this booster shot will not tackle, for as far as we know, the Omicron.
So I'm saying, what I said about the booster was, I said, look, these companies, they only had a year to make it. At the absolute most. COVID came out in March 2020. Vaccine started deploying in December
or so. Yeah.
Not even a year.
Right.
People got vaccinated. So they realized people.
Would you say that now the booster is now safer and more accurate than the first initial shots made in December of 2020?
I would sure hope so.
Okay.
I would hope so. But then again, look, and I get it. The vaccine isn't meant to completely thwart the vaccine.
Yes.
I've seen many patients every time at work. They've had all three vaccines. The first 2 in the series, and then the booster. They still come in, positive.
Sure.
But what I was gonna say was, crap. Oh yeah. So along vaccines was basically, so what you are saying. Let's talk about one of the biggest vaccines, or one of the most notorious vaccines.
Okay. The swine flu? The
HIV, AIDS.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So let's say all of a sudden half the world got AIDS.
Okay.
Half the world got HIV. I believe it's you get HIV and then you get AIDS. I believe it's once your T cells get below a certain amount, then it's classified as AIDS.
Yes.
So let's just say everyone has HIV or half the world has HIV. Are you saying in less than a year they're going to come out with a vaccine for HIV, even though HIV is known to have been around already, and they can't get a vaccine for it?
Okay, so I'm a pleb. I'm not a scientist, but correct me if I'm wrong. The HIV virus
Yes, that's what V stands for in
kills white blood cells.
HIV. It basically kills you.
Okay, but
so
by
it basically
killing white blood cells.
exhausts your entire white blood cell count, which is your
Immune system.
your cells. Yeah, exactly, your immune system.
Okay, so we're talking about two different things here: a respiratory virus versus.
But I'm going based off your logic
Well,
that the whole world
yeah.
now
Yeah.
is going to be focused on this.
Yes. So. Okay. Well, will they be focused by it? To it? Yes. I'll answer that. The whole world will be focused for
Okay.
sure. Now, to the extent of their success in finding a vaccine, I don't know how I pronounce it like that, but a vaccine, I don't know, because it's also tackling a different part of the body. I don't know which one's harder to manage. I don't know why it might be easier to find a vaccine for a respiratory virus versus a white blood cell killing virus. I don't know. Well, I do know that the whole world will be looking at it. Yes.
Okay.
Now, also, it is not. Well, I mean, you put me in a scenario where the whole world or half the world has it.
I was just going based off your
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah. I'm just saying because it's also you can't transmit it by touching somebody. You can't transmit it by coughing. You can't transmit it by
it's
kissing.
blood and sexual contact,
Right. So,
and everyone has sex.
but you put me in a scenario where half the world has it, so I can't avoid people from spreading it because you already have half of the world has it already, which is 3.5 billion people, which is a lot. That'd be a lot harder to manage. 100%. Will the whole world be watching and studying it and researching it? I'll become a doctor if that was the case. Yes. Now, I don't know if they'll be... Because, look, a vaccine is to rid the symptoms, correct? It won't heal. It's not a cure.
So a vaccine, the primary focus of a vaccine is to prevent getting it.
Okay, but it's not a cure, correct?
It's not a cure, no.
So those people that already have the HIV in this scenario would eventually get AIDS and potentially die, correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's a...
But then everyone else that could potentially get it, because let's face it, no one's going to stop having sex.
Boy, shit, I'll stop in a heartbeat.
I mean, you're talking about 8 billion people. And think about all the people, especially in Africa, that don't know that they have it.
And maybe they might not give a heck, and that's up to them.
No, I mean, but they're not going to know.
Oh, okay, well, if you just snap your finger and say half of the world now has HIV, then yeah, I think we'll go instinct for sure if that was the case. Different position. But look, the main question, the start of the question was, look, to what extent is the government doing too much or doing too little? Okay, we'll start here. Do you think government is good or bad?
I think at the core of it,
Yes, the core. Yes.
and what the government was intended to be there for,
Yes.
good. Inherently good.
Okay, I agree.
What it has become, that's a different story.
Okay.
That's a different story. I think I don't want to sound too radical because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a radical person, I thought, but I'm just saying inherently what it has become. It just does not seem like basically. It just doesn't seem like the government is there to help you. That's just what it seems like at this point.
Okay.
It's there really. Basically, I mean, just look at politics.
Okay.
Politics is so cutthroat.
Yes.
So cutthroat.
Oh, yes.
I mean, look at the politicians' ads, right? Whenever you flick on the TV or something, these guys are literally going at their throat. Like,
Yes.
Senator or wannabe Senator Gutierrez was found with bestiality in his search history. Don't vote for this guy.
Yeah.
They come at each other's throats. It just really seems like they're all in it for themselves.
Which is a fact.
Exactly. They're in it for themselves and not for the
Greater good.
wholesome, greater good of the people.
I think I'd agree. I'd agree. Now we're getting to the kind of the corruption of office for these positions, where they'll fight so hard to get these positions. They'll say whatever they have to say to convince us, the civilians, the people, that they are in it for the greater or the best interest of this person.
But it really doesn't seem like it. So this is actually just in the news too as well. Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
She is basically regarded as the greatest investor of all time.
Okay.
She's a politician.
Yes.
Why is she regarded as the greatest politician of all time? She like beats the market like 100-fold.
Greatest investor or greatest politician? I'm sorry.
Greatest investor.
Investor. Okay.
Because supposedly, because the politicians of where they are or whatever, somehow they get inside information. Because she gets all this inside information on all these other companies, all these other, lobbyists who are working for companies. She gets news ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
Gets in, gets out as needed with these companies in the stock market, and is literally beating institutions.
Yes.
Beating people whose job it is.
Yeah.
To make money in the stock market.
Now I didn't know she was an investor.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
She was actually questioned just on the other day and completely dodged the question about insider trading.
Is that illegal? Surely it's illegal.
Yeah, it is illegal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there corruption in all governments? 100%.
Oh yeah.
Do we have
Absolutely.
among the best governments in the world? Yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
So you're saying not even top 5?
I like the French government.
So you're not even saying top 5?
Maybe top 5. Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so that's best. I mean, out of how many?
I mean,
countries do we
best is number 1.
have? Do we not have one of the best countries? I'm sorry, governments in the world.
Top 5, sure.
Okay, so we do.
Okay. I mean, is that what you want to hear?
No, I just want to. I want to make sure that we're not like in some sort of like freaking dictatorship right now where like the government runs the world. I mean, hey, why are you thinking about that? Hold up.
Well, no, I wasn't thinking about that. I was
okay. So
I was thinking about other countries.
When you look at this, when someone looks at the ceiling, they're thinking.
I was thinking about other countries. Maybe what other countries might have better.
I mean, I'm just thinking about all the African countries. I just know there's some bunk ass stuff going over there.
That's been proven.
Yeah. So there's no argument there. Look, because I wanted to mention one of my undergrad philosophers that we had to read up on. His name is Thomas Hobbes. He has a famous book that he made a long time ago called The Leviathan.
Yeah, I have heard. What was that? When was that made? Like in the 1880s or something like that?
Probably.
Maybe sooner or maybe older. I remember hearing about that back in grade school.
Really?
Yeah.
It was written or published.
It's like 1800s, 1600s?
1651.
Oh, yeah, 1600s. Yeah.
1700s.
1700s, yeah.
I'm sorry,
you said
17th
1651, so...
17th century.
Okay, 1651, 1600s.
Yeah, 1600s. So, if you remember or not, this book is basically him arguing that... Now, he was a little bit of an extremist within the political theory and political philosophy realm, but he was arguing for government and saying that without government, we'd be living in a state of nature constantly. What that means is that we'd be living in a brash and dangerous, and there's 3 words that he mentions in that book that I can't think of right now, constantly, whereas like there's no judge, jury, or executioner. You are that person. You are those 3 roles.
So I just want to put out there,
yes,
I love the theory of the common man, public justice. I love that. I love that because it just shows, or in theory, in a perfect world, if there is, public justice, street justice,
yes,
people know right from wrong.
Yes, in a perfect world.
And yeah, in a perfect world, of course. And they see someone doing something wrong, they dish out the punishment, whatever that is. I think that's great.
Assuming that their spectrum of
right and wrong
penalties are calibrated. Like, hey, you know what? This person did this, and then the person did that yesterday, so I'm gonna do the same thing that I did to last.
Yeah, I'm not saying you stole a candy bar and all of a sudden you're gonna get thrown into a public stoning.
Yes.
I'm not saying that, but
so Thomas Hobbes in this book, he says that people in state of nature are constantly in solidarity, poor, nasty, brutish, and short.
Yes.
So that's what he says. Oh, I'm sorry, and I quote.
I'm sorry, keep going.
What he mentioned, or what he argues, is that government at all times, even if they are all right and all powerful, is always better than being in a state of nature.
Okay.
So, of course, this is where he gets a little controversial, where he's like saying, okay, even dictatorships are better than state of nature. Well, probably not. But look, that's what he's arguing. So we'll listen to what he's saying. What benefits does having a government mean? So obviously what a benefit is you can't get killed without a penalty in a perfect world where, like, this person would get caught, right?
I hear a lot of people get killed.
Well, I mean, and hopefully they're caught and they're pushed, or they're put through their, the justice system, of course. In the perfect world, we hope that they are. A lot of times they are not. Whatever, that's the story for a different time. In this world that, there is a government, then you can have your property owed to you. This is your own property, so no one can take it from you, right? Mm-hmm. You are allowed to vote because you are over 18. You're not a felon. You have the right to vote. In a world without government, you have no rights. Basically,
do you need rights?
I'm sorry?
Do you need rights because you are your own government at that point?
Okay, well, why not? Why, if I like your shoes, why can't I just go kill you and take your shoes?
Well, if you did that,
there'd be no penalty.
It depends on who would know. Because at that point, it really comes down to who knows. Let's say you like my shoes, you killed me.
Yes.
Here in the U.S., no one catches you. What's the penalty? Nothing. So really, penalty is about who knows and are they going to do something about it.
Well, I would also live in a constant state of fear if that were the case. Where if I were to kill you for your shoes, I'd be constantly in a state of fear. Whereas in a state of nature, I would not care because it wouldn't matter.
What if I had a son? What if I had a wife that wants retribution? Then you would be still in a state of fear.
So is that a form of government then?
That's exactly what I said. I said you are your own government. That's what I just said.
Well, no. Is that a form of government where your children, your wife now want retribution for what I've done? Is that not a form of, because of that, now you're going to get this?
That's basically a vigilante.
Okay, well, why'd you say it like that? What the heck?
What?
Vigilante?
Yeah.
Why'd you say vigilante?
It sounds nice.
Oh my God, guys! All right. Vigilante, whatever you want to call it.
Vigilante sounds nice.
This person now wants retribution. Yep. So retribution is almost like the purpose of government, to be sure that everything's at an equal state at all times. You do that, that was wrong. Now you're gonna,
basically the government is there to outline rules and what's right and wrong.
Is that good?
Inherently, yeah. Inherently, at its core, like I said, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. We agree on that. Now, it not requiring the vaccine, or it requiring the vaccine rather, is that not in its kind of realm of deeds to decide?
And I hear what you're saying, but like I said in the very first minute when we discussed this, it comes down to what the rights are of a resident of the U.S. I think that would be infringing on the rights. Whatever right that is. Like I said, I'm a pleb. I can't tell you what the Bill of Rights is, but from my understanding of what the rights is, I think that would be infringing on some type of right.
Now, okay, we're just talking about the United States. Now, when it comes to traveling, let's say you want to go to France, why not?
But then I don't know what the French Constitution is, so I couldn't tell you.
And they probably require it.
Probably, yeah.
So, should you not be able to travel to France because you don't have the vaccine?
But then it comes down to the airlines. Is it against the airlines?
I don't think the airlines really care.
I think they would. Because then it would come down to the airlines' terms of service or terms of conditions, whatever, and the country that you'd be traveling to, what their rules are.
For example, when I went to Hawaii, the airline itself did not require anything. It's not until I landed into the terminal.
But that's the thing too. You're only traveling domestically. That's still considered domestic.
Yes. When I went to Mexico, that airline did require it.
Okay.
So I guess it depends also on the airline, but for the most part, they just care about the money. They don't care who flies. They just want the more buyers, the better. if they were to require the vaccine, they'd lose some customers.
Okay, so that being said, the people making the COVID vaccine, think about how lucrative it would be to say that you are the first person or the first company to make the COVID vaccine.
Well, through a lot of trial and error, surely.
Would you not be trying to rush that thing out so then everyone's going to buy your vaccine?
I don't even know who was the first company to make it.
I believe it was Moderna.
Moderna.
Yeah.
Which isn't even the best one. I mean, for what I've seen, I think the Pfizer's the better one.
I don't know. I want to say...
Because it has 2 shots, and I don't know. From what the stats I've seen, okay, well, this is a null argument, but I feel like I don't even think Moderna's the best one, but whatever. Point is,
it's either first or second. I've seen countless people check. I mean, countless people check in for that they've had both, they've had all of them, whatever, and they're positive. But I think more the Johnson & Johnson one is the worst one, and I don't think people even getting the Johnson & Johnson one anymore. I think the U.S. or whoever's
CDC.
administering them realizes that this one just sucks.
Yeah, because I think it's just 1 shot for that one as well.
Exactly.
Whatever. Look, I think that it's important that we have government at its core. It's supposed to be intrinsically good.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, we can count on them. Now we can get into corruption and how some individuals or companies, powerhouses may want to sway laws one way to benefit themselves and maybe cost.
And this is an argument for government. Because, I mean, the government there, like I said, is to tell you what's right and wrong.
Yes.
Right. Think about what happened with one of the biggest frauds of all time. I'm not sure if you know about it, but Enron, basically.
No.
So Enron, it was a company about energy. Okay. They were a utility company at its core, a business, basically, like every company, but mainly they were a business. They were one of the... They were looked at as like one of like the best stocks, to invest in at that time because they just were not losing. I mean, every single month, every single earnings report, they were just reporting better and better earnings over and over and over again.
Okay.
And Enron actually came out from the reason why Enron even was established was because actually in Texas they voted for deregulation. And I want to say it was President Bush at the time. President Bush even signed off on it and said, this is going to create better efficiency or whatever. And they signed off on it, and that basically gave the keys to someone to create Enron. And this deregulation allowed Enron basically to act unchecked. And how they act unchecked was they were basically calling up companies and telling, other what do they call them? Power plants.
Yes.
Basically saying, hey, you guys should shut down for maintenance. You guys should shut down for maintenance. Don't worry. We got enough energy.
Okay.
We'll serve that area.
Okay.
We think, you haven't gone down for maintenance in a while, so might as well, check the outlets or whatever,
Okay.
So, they would go down for maintenance.
Okay.
And then they would step in and charge the people, which the people wouldn't know because it was deregulated. They didn't have to disclose or whatever. They would be charging them like fourfold what their electricity would normally cost.
Okay.
And not only that, they would be. They also, I think, they went to California and promised them X amount of energy, and didn't even give it to them, but they were already paid.
Oh wow.
So they just ran away from the deal.
Okay.
And I think that was like to the tune of like $22 million just in that one case alone.
And that sounds a case of like somebody type of thing.
Yeah,
you know
something
somebody,
like that.
so you get this type of treatment, and you get away from this type of regulation that would normally be, assessed to different companies. And
So-
that's just
So basically,
That's
what
corruption.
I'm like trying to say is yes, I do believe in government. That government has to be there because I think it's not that you need government, because I do think there needs to be a government to tell you right from wrong. But I think people, at their core,
yes.
they're going to try to find a way to slight the system.
Yes. Because
They're-
we are selfish.
Exactly. People
We
are just
egotistic.
I don't. I mean, that could be another topic in itself. Is people inherently good, or are they inherently bad?
Bad. I just answered that whole episode. No, we could talk about that one for sure, though. We
Yeah.
could talk about that one for sure. I actually have a good story for that one. Actually, yeah, we will talk about that because Yeah, I mean that's because the government is people. Government are people. That's
So I mean, there's going to be natural bias.
Natural bias, no matter what. There's natural interest. There's agendas that must be met and filled,
Which is why I don't think the U.S. has the best government.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's lobbyists, and these lobbyists, if you don't know what a lobbyist is, it's basically a person being paid by a company to basically promote that company's agenda.
Yes.
And these lobbyists in the government are basically, trying to, convince, whining and dining other politicians, say, hey, vote in this way because it's going to help, our company's agenda rather than the
people. Put it like this. Does your state senator, your state governor really care about electric vehicles? Probably not.
Probably not.
But if some, for example, car company in this case, or in this scenario, Tesla, invite your favorite or your politician, your governor, state governor, to a nice little Brazilian steakhouse dinner, and tell them, hey, you know what? You probably don't even care about this, man, but this next bill coming up in 2 weeks really helps us out. It really doesn't cost much. All you got to do is sign it off, and bada bing, bada boom. Before you know it, electric companies can charge twice as much for their oil changes or something like. I don't know. Or did I just say that? I just really said that.
Yeah.
Electric companies. I really said that for their batteries or whatever, or some sort of wiring. And that's what all it takes, man. It's so scary that we live in a world where we hope that our politicians really think for the best, or think or hope or decide, make decisions for the best of the rest of people, or their constituents. But we probably don't live in that system, unfortunately.
Probably not.
And that's scary, man. And that's scary because, when we vote and stuff, we're talking about president elections. Like, you hear those candidates saying some stuff. You're like, yeah, man, yeah, cancel student debt. Yeah, man, why not?
And this is actually what I also want to mention as well.
Yeah.
Presidents.
Yeah.
How do you think presidents run their campaigns and advertising?
Yes.
See, this is what I think. Maybe it's not what I think. Maybe it's just a thought.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think the presidents or these presidential candidates, whenever they're running their advertisements, I almost see it as if they are really catering to the uneducated. And hear me out. I think they're catering to the uneducated because that's where the vote is. I think they think the real vote is with the uneducated. So I think it's almost as if which political party in the US can can convince the most uneducated people. And I say specifically uneducated people because I see that educated people have done their research, who really knows who the candidates are, and therefore they've already made up their mind.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the campaigns say because the campaigns, at the end of the day, they're trying to just promote themselves.
Now, is that the Republican Party right there?
I don't want to get into left, right,
Look,
red,
man,
blue.
I don't want to get into
Democrat.
that either. But why is it that it's always some bunk-ass city in Montana that always votes red?
So
Am I getting somewhere?
I don't think you are, and let me explain why. I think it's not that so. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying
I'm getting
because
somewhere.
It's at its core.
Hey, if you live in bunk-ass city, Montana, I'm sorry. It's an example, but yes.
It really comes down to the traditional beliefs of that area.
They tend to be Christian.
Well, the traditional beliefs, as in
they're farmers. They don't make much money. They're pretty low income. They really care about jobs because we're talking about so towns around our area where they're pretty small. They're pretty low key.
They're generally Republican.
They're pretty because they want to keep their jobs. They're the same type of race to keep their jobs because that's what they've known in that small town. But when you get into big cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, we have a melting pot of ethnicities, of races, of genders.
See, some places are known that so like for example, whenever presidents run their campaigns,
Yes,
they know California is going to be a lost cause. or if you're a Republican, California's gonna be a lost cause.
Yes.
They're just, for whatever reason, that area just believes in blue.
Yes.
They just believe Democrat.
Yes.
So why even run there?
Yes.
Because they're gonna get all the electoral votes
Exactly.
for Democrats. So it comes down to the traditional beliefs in that area.
So you're back to what you were saying, to uneducated or low education communities.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that they're so easy to target? Because they don't have their own opinions. They don't have their own research. They're easily influenced.
Easily influenced. I'm actually glad you said that. For the most part, whenever you look at court cases,
okay.
Look at for example, the Casey Anthony case.
Okay.
The Casey Anthony case, all the jurors, which, jurors, if you didn't know, they're actually hand-picked, hand-selected by lawyers, or by both the defendant lawyer and the prosecuting lawyer. And by the way, I'm not taking shots if you have been a juror, but I'm just saying, for this example, in the case of the Casey Anthony case, both lawyers chose all jurors that did not have a college degree.
Okay.
They're trying to pick the people who are uneducated, which they perceive are the most easily influenced.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we arguing, or are you?
I don't know. I forgot what you said.
I agree. No, I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree, because they're easier to influence. That's what we're saying. Easier to influence, especially with these lawyers.
And by no means, I'm not saying if you don't have a college degree, I'm not saying you're better than anyone else or you're worse than anyone else. That's not what I'm saying. But it's almost the prejudice of, not prejudice, but maybe going through college, it makes you more of a hard-headed person.
Free thinker?
Free thinker, hard-headed, someone who's already made up their mind. Maybe that kind of person. I don't know.
I feel like going to college, well, I mean, there's arguments on both sides, but I feel personally, I think that going to college kind of opens up your mind to your own ideas, because you meet so many different people from different states or schools or backgrounds where you're like, oh, this guy thinks this, she thinks that. What do I think?
But then again, there's also many people who never went to college who came to be, great business people and are much wealthier than everyone else in the world.
They don't tend to be politicians, I'd say, for the most part, but there's exceptions.
Yeah.
Look, man, I think that for the most part, and we can get into electoral college a different day, because that's a different beast in itself. But for the most part, I feel that, yes, these uneducated Americans they have a lot of power. They have a ton of power.
They have a lot
when it comes to voting.
Absolutely.
A ton of power. It's almost basically half, as we've seen. Because, there's, for example, Illinois. It's a state that's, for the most part, as far as, on a map goes, it's red. But when it comes to Chicago and its surrounding areas, extremely blue. What does that mean? That for the most part, on a map, for the most part, geographically, Illinois is maybe fairly uneducated.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
We're plebs.
Because, I think...
it doesn't have to be education, but we're just talking about smaller towns. And when you're from a smaller town, you tend to have, for the most part, very, very similar ideals as those other community members. Whenever, the exception is when you're in a big city, you meet so many people, and you tend, for the most part, like I said, have your own ideals and ideas of what you want your president or your governor, your senator to be. And when you're a small town, dude, I know what a small town is, because my parents are from a small town, and boy, do I tell you, when everybody's got like a mindset, they've got a mindset. Like, people, when I go over there, I'm like, wait, what? Like, you guys all kind of think like this? Like, this is normal for you guys? And it really much is. It very much is. Like, I come from a time, like a place, Texas. Oops. For example, Texas.
Yeah.
That's very big. And, we have our are people that are from small towns. We have people that are from very, 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 very big towns. Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. And we kind of don't really care what our neighbor's doing or, what we saw down the street. Things happen. But when you're from these small towns, this person this. Oh, this person voted for this person. I know because, he was...
But I think at the end of the day, it really just stems that, it's just politics is just one of those things that people just, love to poke at. It's like, you don't believe, this way? Oh, you're stupid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even some of my friends.
Yeah.
I was, talking about... I don't want to say which politician...
Yeah.
But I said, this politician basically has a personality like this, and they were like, "Oh no, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Give me an example." And I'm like, there's literally montages made on YouTube about it.
Yeah.
Like, you just go look it up yourself. I'd have nothing to prove to you.
Yeah.
It's just what I have already known because it's right there in front of me. I've looked it up. Clearly, you haven't looked it up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then again, it comes down to these politicians. They might be kind of silly, but how much of their decisions are made by those people around him or her?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Also,
like,
I think, surely at the end of the day, what does the president even know?
Yeah.
The president really is just there to make the decision. Doesn't really know anything. I don't want to say they don't know anything, but basically all their information comes from their experts and their advisors.
So the real question here is, did you vote for Billy Bob or Billy Bob's best friends? Who are you voting for?
Yeah.
And that's something we can't solve.
Yeah.
Not on Pleb Talk, especially not on Pleb Talk.
Maybe we could solve it, in our own country.
Yeah.
But I don't think we even named. I think we should name it sometime.
Oof, Jesus. We should name it sometime.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Kakanagua.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't like the sound of that.
Messinaldo.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
Tank.
But at the end of it, basically, no government's perfect.
Yeah.
Every government has some stem of bias or corruption.
Yes.
Some greater than others. And it's so deep rooted, I think, and that kind of goes back to the fact that people are almost inherently selfish at the end of the day. Because
that's a fact. Yeah.
Look at how they are whenever there's deregulation, or look at how they are whenever they're behind closed doors. They're probably looking on, ways to get ahead illegally. Look at, corporations.
Yes.
They basically, corporations and businesses, Target, Walmart, they basically found the golden egg of loopholes.
Yes.
Like, whenever you go make that purchase and they're like, you want to round up your pennies to Salvation Army or, some type of charity.
Now, what happens when you do?
What happens when you do? I'm glad you asked. They're basically using that money that you donated to, let's say, Target.
Yes.
And Target uses all that money that you donated.
Yes.
And gives it to those charities.
Yes.
But in turn, because all that money, which, pennies on all these millions of transactions a day, adds up to millions of dollars. Those millions of dollars that you donated to Target to donate to that charity, they get a tax write-off.
Yes.
So they don't have to pay taxes on how many $1 million. Who knows? Is that fair to you?
Look,
I get it because, that charity is getting money, which is great.
Yes.
But is it fair to you that you were not the one to get the tax write-off? And that Target was the one, or I'm not trying to, slam Target, but whatever XYZ company was the one who got the tax write-off.
That's a great point. Because look, is it good that this charity is actually getting the money?
That's great.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Great. That's good. But the fact that you're not getting the tax write-off is not so great. But then again, let's say you gave that money directly to that charity. 75 cents won't give
it's not
you
gonna
anything.
Exactly.
So are they kind of being Robin Hood in a way, but not so much?
They're not doing their part. Look at for example, Donald Trump, right? He have that, wasn't he bragging that he paid less taxes than his secretary?
Yeah, so it was like 2016, 2017, the year he got elected, and the year after he paid $750 allegedly, according to the sources that I've saw. I don't know for facts. I haven't seen this, tax reports or anything like that. But apparently, or according to these websites and reports, they say that he only paid $750 for taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Insane.
It's insane.
It's despicable almost.
But
when someone makes that much money, I know for the most part the general U.S. population is doing their part.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, for example, in this example, Donald Trump, is that what he did illegal or legal?
There's loopholes everywhere. So technically, by loophole standard, it's legal.
Okay, I agree.
But the common man is not going to have the knowledge, is not going to have the resources, is not going to have the financial advisors, their own economist on staff, to figure these things out.
Now, why do you think, back on this topic, why do you think that so many of these artists and actors and rapper musicians and whatever have their own foundations, their own charities? Why do you really think that this person that acted in the new Superman movie, do you think he really cares about dogs? Okay, maybe his dog, but not everybody else's dog. So that's why he created his own charity where he donates X amount of thousands or millions of dollars a year, so that he doesn't have to pay that to the government. Now, is that a good or bad thing? I don't know, dude. Look. So let me say this: whenever you give your taxes to the government, do you know exactly to where your dollar is going to?
There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
Do you hope it's good? Yes. Could it be going to the secretary of your senator's pocket? Maybe.
So answer me this question, okay? So I just pulled up this website.
Yes.
Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy.
Okay. .com.
.org.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be anything really.
Okay.
Could be. Who knows? They could be getting shilled, but basically they have this website. What's that?
You're looking at it, no?
I'm looking at it right now. They have gathered the information of companies who haven't paid taxes. Okay, or it's not that who haven't paid taxes, but basically companies who didn't have to pay any taxes because of whatever loopholes or whatever.
Okay.
FedEx paid no taxes. Guess how much income they had in 2020?
It's $50 million.
1.2 billion.
Yes.
Didn't pay a single dime.
Okay.
And they actually received a rebate of $230 million.
Wow. Okay.
Nike didn't pay a single dime. Guess their U.S. income last year.
1.2?
2.9 billion.
Oh, so we're going up. Okay. I thought we were going down.
2.9 billion and got a 109 million tax rebate.
Wow. So less than FedEx.
Less rebate on FedEx, more income.
Income.
Dish Network had 2.5 billion.
Wait, more than Netflix? Nike?
No, that's less than Nike. That's 400 million less than Nike.
Okay.
But 2.5 billion in U.S. income, paid 0 cents in taxes. Salesforce, 2.6 billion in U.S. income, which Salesforce is a software company, by the way, but paid 0 cents.
Look, all I'm saying, those foundations or those charities that they're paying into, they better be balling. They better be like solving, the cure of cancer.
See,
they better be
I'm saying.
housing.
Instead of these ridiculous laws about XYZ and whatever, why not just close the loopholes? Why won't the government just close these loopholes?
And then the pressures on government, are they spending the money as it should be spent? And we come into another problem.
That's a completely different topic, but I'm just saying...
Well, it's the same topic, though.
It's not. I'm saying is, why won't the government just close the loophole of, if you make billions of dollars...
You got to pay X amount.
You have to at least pay X amount of money. You have to at least pay X
I'm for it, but look, one of my favorite rappers once said on a song is that, why pay taxes to some...
I'm about to be disgusted in this, but keep going.
I didn't hear what you said, but yeah. So this one rapper once said on one of his songs is that, why pay X amount of thousands, because these artists, rappers are making millions of dollars and they're paying millions of dollars in taxes. Why do I have to pay this white man sitting on a desk, where there could be an app on my phone?
I hate that, by the way. I hate that saying, but keep going.
Where why not there be an app, an app on your phone or your computer or website that you log into as a citizen? You paid, oh, you know what, Sean, you paid $50,000 in taxes for 2021. Where do you want to put it into? You want to put it into schools? Do you want to put it into infrastructure? Do you want to put it into public roads? Do you want to put it into maybe jails or like something that you want? Now, look, the big downfall on this is that, sure, maybe not everybody wants to put money into, let's say, what is not that popular. Maybe someone that didn't go to school, they don't care about schools. So maybe they won't pay for school. So maybe, super small communities that aren't college educated, they probably wouldn't put money into colleges. But why not even it out somehow? Like, why not that be maybe an option? What do you think about that? That'd be an option. Like, hey, you know what? You care about, what do you care about?
Because it's going to create...
public roads.
But see, that's the thing. It's going to create a problem where it's not going to even out. So, I mean, this guy might really care about education. That's what I said. And this guy might, especially in this day and age. Yeah. I mean, think about all the people who think that defunding police is gonna create, a better world.
Those people are kind of silly.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. Think about all this, this new campaign that defunding police is going to create this much better world. And think about in this next year, if it wasn't in that way where you do choose where your money goes. Think about, what kind of, less funding, less equipment that they can make.
Now, would you like that, though? Like, obviously we have like professionals and research professionals looking into, how to make it in a way where you get to choose where your money goes to. Now, obviously, we're not millionaires. We're not.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't like that, no. Okay. Because it comes down to the fact that the common man is not going to be educated enough to know, where your money really should go.
True.
And that really should... I mean, I believe the president sets that right when they come into term of, how much NASA gets, how much education gets, how much the military gets. What's that?
I'm sorry. Do you think the military gets too much money?
No. I think they get enough money. I think it's a decent amount. I think it's right on par.
Oh man! Look, we used to be in. I think the Afghanistan war's over now, right?
Sure. I mean, they did pull out the troops, but I mean, was it right? Was it wrong? Who knows? That's up for interpretation. We're not going to get into that.
Well, I mean, that's up to Afghan. I mean, that's their problem now. I mean, that's kind of what most of the people wanted. That we that's a different story. Whatever. But
then that's like blood on the U.S.'s hands because they pulled out, and all of a sudden all these problems happen. But it's another topic.
Up into interpretation depends on every person. But now, I believe our budget for either was it 2021 or next year's is the highest it's ever been.
Is it?
I believe so.
I'm pretty surprised considering, the president right now is Joe Biden, which is a Democrat, which usually Democrats don't believe in strong military budgets. So, I mean, if that is true, I'll be actually quite surprised. Because, I mean, I believe at the core, Democrats don't believe in bolstering up super strong militaries and giving them, X amount of billions of dollars to do what they want with it. I actually had a friend or a mutual acquaintance who actually said, and I mean, I think for the most part, Obama was a good president, but he was in the military at the time, deployed, and he said under Obama there was ammo shortages at his base overseas in the Middle East all the time, and under Trump, however, there were no ammo shortages at all. Everyone had enough ammo. Everyone had enough grenades. It was like the funniest thing to hear.
Sounds like an agenda, but yeah, maybe.
Right. I mean, I barely knew the guy. Yeah. I'll be honest, I barely knew the guy, but I thought it was funny to hear.
Yeah, so I can't find the stat right now, but I believe it's the highest it's ever been, and we're not even in war, if you want to see it that way. Okay. So it's like, so is that necessary? I don't know. But then we're also talking about, to see who's got the biggest rocket type of thing, Right. We got Russia, we got North Korea, we got China. So it's like, it's whatever. Look, I don't know, man. We could get into militaries and budgets and the way to work that later. As for today, I think that for the most part, we're on the same page. I think for the most part, we do believe that government's necessary to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
COVID vaccine on the right track. The way I think that they're handling is good. It's not forced on anybody. But if you want to travel, if you want to work for the government.
Actually, well, I mean, some jobs do require it still. Even non-government jobs.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, hey, you don't have to work for us, but if you want to work for us, you got to do this. And it's not like you have to go run 10 laps of a golf course. No, you just got to take the shot. It's for your own good. It's not like we're putting a chip in you. So look, the way I see it, for the most part, why not? It's why make yourself a bad candidate for a position or traveling, whatever. Look, you guys tell us what you think, why you're pro or against vaccination or mandatory vaccination. We're open to hear everything. We're open to discuss it on the next episode if you guys have a good argument as well. Yeah.
Well, let us know what y'all think. We really do want to hear it.
We do.
We definitely want to, have a little banter, have a little back and forth.
Of course. Yeah. We're not here to offend anybody. We're not here to make anyone feel bad. We are here just to simply put our thoughts out. If you guys take something from us, then do it. If you don't, then don't. More power to you, always.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
What's that? What do you want to add?
I do want to add that the last episode, we didn't really have a focus on the sign. Hopefully now it is.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So thank you to the Valdez brothers again.
I really like that sign, yeah.
Yes, we do appreciate that. Hopefully you guys can see that now. And if not, if maybe the whole time you guys couldn't see it, then I'm sorry. We'll get it next time. But on that note, we appreciate you guys. XOXO.
Music is from the same underground, deep cover, black market artist, and shout out to him. He knows who he is. I'm sorry y'all can't get a hold of those gems, but
catch him here.
I guess you're gonna have to hack my computer to get it. And I run a VPN, so good luck.
In Japan.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's episode 8 ending. Cheers. Happy New Year. If you guys see this before or after. We'll have an episode out next week around the same time you're watching this as well. And cheers.
Cheers. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to, we really appreciate. And that's that.
XOXO.
Pleb Talk out.